Welcome back to the Old Charles. Today, we're tackling a coin that is so common, you've almost certainly held one in your hand. It's the workhorse of American commerce, the humble quarter. But we're not talking about just any quarter. We're talking about the 1983 Liberty Quarter. Now, if you're a seasoned collector, you might be thinking, Alex, Washington is on the quarter, not Lady Liberty. And you'd be right, mostly. But there's a story here, a secret hiding in plain sight, and for a handful of these 1983 quarters, that secret can turn 25 cents into over $300. So, grab your coin jars and piggy banks, because we're diving deep into the 1983 quarter to uncover its history, its hidden varieties, and its surprising true value. To understand why the 1983 quarter is special, we need a little context. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to celebrate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. For decades, from 1932 until 1964, these quarters were struck in 90% silver. They had weight, they had a beautiful ring to them, they felt like real money. But in 1965, due to a nationwide coin shortage and the rising price of silver, the U.S. Mint made a huge change. They removed the silver entirely and started making quarters from a copper-nickel-clad composition. That's the quarter we know today, a copper core sandwiched between two layers of nickel now. Fast forward to 1983. The U.S. economy was recovering, and the mint was pumping out coins at a massive rate. Over 1.3 billion quarters were minted across three facilities: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, the D mint mark; and San Francisco, the S mint mark, but only for proof sets sold to collectors. With numbers that high, you'd think every 1983 quarter is just ordinary. And 99.999% of them are. But it's that tiny fraction of a percent where the magic, and the money happens. The word Liberty is inscribed along the top rim. The design is so familiar we don't even see it anymore. But the true Liberty story for 1983 isn't about the design, it's about errors and varieties. There are two primary reasons a 1983 quarter would be worth more than face value. Let's break them down. This is the holy grail for 1983 quarter hunters. A double die occurs when the hub, the master tool that imprints the design onto a working die, impresses the design slightly out of alignment. This creates a doubling effect on every coin struck from that faulty die. For the 1983 DDO, the doubling is most prominent on the date and the motto, "In God We Trust." You'll see a distinct shadow or a doubling, particularly on the 9 and the 3 in the date, and on the letters of "In God We Trust." This isn't wear and tear, it's a minting error, and it's highly sought after. The other big-ticket items are major errors. While less specific to 1983, they absolutely exist for this year. We're talking about off-center strikes, where the coin isn't struck properly in the collar, resulting in a misaligned design and a blank portion of the planchet. Or, broad strikes, where the coin is struck without the retaining collar, causing it to spread out like a pancake. The value here depends on the severity of the error. A 5% off-center might only be worth $10, but a 50% off-center could be $100 or more. Now, if you find one that is brilliant uncirculated, BU, meaning it never entered circulation and still has its original luster, you're looking at a value between $1 and $5. It's a nice find for a beginner's collection. Next, the 1983 S. San Francisco proof coin. These were never meant for circulation, they were sold in special sets to collectors. They have a mirror-like background and frosted design. A standard 1983 S proof in its original case is worth about $3 to $6. This is the coin that can pay a utility bill. In lower grades, like fine to extremely fine condition, a confirmed 1983 DDO can sell for $150 to $250. If you find one in mint state, uncirculated condition, you're looking at $300, $400, or even more depending on the market and the strength of the doubling. The key is authentication. For a coin this valuable, you'll want it certified by a service like PCGS or NGC. That slab verifies its authenticity and protects its value. So, how do you find one of these? You have to look. Get a handful of quarters from the bank, check your tip jar, or go through that big jar of change you've been ignoring for years. Here's your game plan 1. Sort by year. Pull out every 1983 quarter you can find. Point 2. Check the mint mark asterisk. Is it A, P, D, or S? An S is a good start for a collection. Point 3. Inspect for errors asterisk. Get a cheap 5x or 10x jeweler's loupe. Look closely at the date and, in God we trust, for that doubling. Look at the rim, is it even all the way around, or is the design off-center? 4. Check condition asterisk. Is it shiny and new looking? That uncirculated coin is worth a few bucks. 5. Compare online asterisk. If you think you found something, go to a site like PCGS Coinfax or YouTube and compare your coin to confirmed examples. The 1983 Liberty Quarter is a perfect example of why coin collecting is so exciting. It reminds us that history and potential treasure are literally in our pockets every single day. It's a common piece of metal that, through a unique minting flaw, can become a rare and valuable artifact. So, what do you think? Have you ever found a valuable error coin? Do you have a 1983 quarter you're now looking at a little differently? Let me know in the comments below. I love reading your stories. The No motto, years, 1838 to 1865 asterisk. The original coin had no extra wording on the reverse. This period saw the Mexican-American War, the California Gold Rush, and the Civil War. During the Civil War, precious metal hoarding was so severe that people saved not just gold coins, but silver coins like this quarter, making them disappear from circulation. The addition of, In God We Trust, 1866 in the aftermath of the Civil War, a movement grew to add a religious motto to the nation's currency. In 1866, the seated Liberty Quarter was modified with a new reverse, featuring a ribbon with the words, In God We Trust, above the eagle. This change reflects the national introspection and search for meaning after a devastating conflict. The value of the silver in the quarter was worth more than its face value, causing them to be melted down. To signal a slight reduction in silver weight, the mint added arrows on either side of the date and rays around the eagle on the reverse. The rays were removed the next year, but the arrows remained until 1855. The Coinage Act of 1873 slightly increased the weight of the quarter. To denote this change, arrows were again placed by the date. This period is known as the Crime of 73 by silver miners and proponents, as it effectively ended the free coinage of silver. By 1891, the seated Liberty design, which had been in use for over 50 years, was seen as artistically stale and outdated. A new law was passed requiring coin designs to be changed every 25 years, paving the way for a new look. The Barber Quarter was part of a coordinated redesign of the dime, quarter, and half dollar, all featuring similar designs by Barber. This was an era of massive immigration, industrialization, and the rise of the United States as a global economic power. The coin's formal, European-inspired design reflected the nation's desire to be seen as a mature and sophisticated world player. Despite its long run, the Barber design was never particularly popular with the public, who found it uninspired, especially when compared to more dynamic new designs like the Buffalo nickel in 1916. The 25-year requirement allowed for a new design. The mint held a competition, and a new, dramatically artistic quarter was born, ending the reign of liberty on the denomination for nearly a century. Both the seated Liberty and Barber quarters were struck in 90% silver, making them intrinsically valuable and highly sought after by collectors and investors today. Key dates and rarities. Seated Liberty. The 1873 CC with arrows *** quarter is a major rarity, with a tiny mintage from the Carson City Mint. Barber quarter *** the 1901 S is the key to the series, with a very low mintage, making it extremely valuable in any condition. The term Liberty Quarter saw a brief resurgence with the American Women Quarters program starting in 2022. The obverse of these coins features a portrait of George Washington originally composed by Laura Garden Fraser in 1931, which includes the word Liberty prominently. However, this is not generally what collectors mean by the